Two young stars, two different paths. Alyssa Clark and Brianna Reese, both with unique stories, both with a burning passion for basketball. One shared dream basketball supremacy. From the moment they picked up a basketball, they knew they were destined for greatness. Alyssa Clark, the flashy point guard from California. She was a natural, her skills honed on the sun-soaked courts of Los Angeles. Known for her handles and no-look passes, she was unstoppable. Her vision on the court was unparalleled, making her a nightmare for defenders. Brianna Reese, the powerful forward from the mean streets of Chicago, she dominated the paint. Her strength and determination were unmatched. Both were destined for greatness. Clark and Reese, high school legends, their names echoed in the halls of their schools, their feats the stuff of local legend. Their paths crossed at the McDonald's All-American game. The atmosphere was electric, the crowd buzzing. It was a clash of titans, a preview of what was to come. Clark, with her dazzling moves, led her team to victory. Her agility and finesse left the audience in awe. Reese, despite the loss, dominated the boards. Her presence in the paint was undeniable. The rivalry was born, and it was fierce, a taste of battles to come. The intensity of their matchups promised a future filled with epic showdowns. Their names were etched in basketball history. They were more than just players. They were icons in the making. Fans knew they were witnessing the future of the WNBA. The anticipation was palpable. Clark versus Reese. The next chapter awaited. The world watched, eager to see who would rise to the top. College would be their battleground. The stage was set for the next phase of their rivalry. The journey was far from over. Clark chose UConn, a decision that would shape the future of women's college basketball. Known for its storied history and dominance, UConn was the perfect stage for Clark to showcase her talents. The powerhouse of women's basketball, UConn had a legacy of producing top-tier athletes and winning championships. Clark was ready to add her name to that illustrious list. Meanwhile, Reese opted for arch-rival Notre Dame. The Fighting Irish were no strangers to success either, and Reese was determined to carve out her own legacy. The stage was set. Their rivalry intensified with each passing game. Each matchup between UConn and Notre Dame became a must-watch event. The crowds were deafening, the energy unmatched. Fans from both sides filled the stadiums, creating an electric atmosphere that was palpable. Clark, with her speed and vision, orchestrated her team like a maestro. Her ability to read the game and make split-second decisions set her apart from her peers. Reese, a force of nature, imposed her will down low. Her physicality and determination made her a formidable opponent. They traded blows, each trying to outdo the other. Each victory was sweeter than the last. The thrill of winning against a fierce rival added an extra layer of satisfaction for both players. Their names became synonymous with college basketball. Clark and Reese were not just players, they were icons, inspiring the next generation of athletes. Then came the WNBA draft, a moment that would determine the next chapter of their careers. The anticipation was high and the stakes even higher. Clark, the #1 pick, was celebrated as the future of the league. Her journey from college star to professional athlete was just beginning. Reese, right behind her at #2, was equally celebrated. Fate had other plans, as they landed on different teams, much to the disappointment of fans who had hoped to see their rivalry continue on the same court. Fans were disappointed, but deep down, they knew it was just a matter of time before the two would face off again. Years passed and both players continued to develop their skills and grow their legacies. The anticipation for their next matchup grew with each passing season. Fans discussed and debated who would come out on top when they finally met again. Both players blossomed into superstars. Their individual brilliance was unmatched, and they became the faces of the WNBA, dominating the game and setting new standards. The WNBA was their playground, a stage where they could showcase their skills and compete at the highest level. Then, a blockbuster trade changed everything. The news sent shockwaves through the league and ignited a new wave of excitement among fans. Clark and Reese finally on the same team. The excitement was palpable, the rivalry reignited, but this time, they were united in their quest for greatness. The future was bright, and the basketball world was ready for the next chapter in their storied rivalry. Fast forward to the present, the Los Angeles Sparks versus the New York Liberty, a regular season game with a playoff atmosphere. Clark and Reese, now teammates, faced their former teams. The stakes were high, pride was on the line. The game was a back-and-forth affair, lead changes after every possession. The tension was thick, fans on the edge of their seats. Clark with her signature layups and assists, Reese, unstoppable in the paint. They were playing for more than just a win. The fourth quarter arrived, the score tied, time winding down, the crowd was on its feet, every possession crucial, every shot mattered. This was it, the moment everyone was waiting for. With seconds left on the clock, Clark drove to the basket. Two defenders on her, their eyes locked on her every move, trying to anticipate her next step. The crowd held its breath, the tension in the arena palpable. Clark, known for her agility and quick thinking, had been in this position before. But this time, it felt different. The stakes were higher, the pressure immense. She leaped into the air, her body defying gravity for a split second. The defenders reached out trying to block her path, but Clark was already a step ahead. Her eyes scanned the court, searching for an opening, a chance to make the play that could change everything. Time seemed to slow down, every heartbeat, every breath, every movement was magnified. The roar of the crowd faded into the background, replaced by the sound of her own heartbeat. In that moment, it was just her and the game. Suddenly, a flash of purple. It was Reese, her teammate, sprinting towards the basket. Their eyes met for a brief moment, a silent understanding passing between them. They had practiced this play countless times, but now it was for real. Reese, out of nowhere, called for the ball. Her voice cut through the noise, clear and confident. She was ready, and Clark knew it. This was their chance, their moment to shine. Clark, trusting her teammate, delivered a no-look pass. It was a risky move, but she had faith in Reese. The ball sailed through the air, a perfect arc, heading straight for Reese. Reese caught the ball in mid-air. Her hands were steady, her focus unbreakable. She had one shot, one opportunity to make it count. No time to think, only to react. Her muscles coiled like a spring, ready to unleash their power. The defenders were closing in, but Reese was already in motion. She gathered herself and unleashed a thunderous dunk. The force of the slam reverberated through the arena, a statement of dominance and skill. The ball crashed through the net with a satisfying swish. The buzzer sounded as the ball went through the net. The game was over, but the impact of that moment was just beginning. The crowd erupted in cheers, the noise deafening. Silence. Then, pandemonium. The Sparks had won. The fans couldn't believe what they had just witnessed. It was a moment of pure joy, a celebration of teamwork and perseverance. But it was more than just a win. It was a statement, a declaration that they were a force to be reckoned with. The players hugged, high-fived, and celebrated their hard-earned victory. Clark and Reese together were unstoppable. Their chemistry on the court was undeniable, a testament to their hard work and dedication. They had created a moment that would be remembered for years to come. The game ended, but the moment lived on. It was a story that would be told and retold, a highlight that would be replayed over and over. It was a moment that would be replayed millions of times, a defining play that showcased the beauty and excitement of basketball, a moment that would be etched in WNBA history, a viral moment for the ages, forever immortalized in the annals of sports. Social media explodes, Clark versus Reese takes over the internet. Within seconds, the internet went into overdrive. #ClarkVsReese was trending worldwide. Fans couldn't get enough. The highlights, the reactions, the memes, it was all anyone could talk about. Social media platforms were flooded. Fans debated the final play. Was it Clark's genius pass or Reese's incredible athleticism? The arguments raged on. Everyone had an opinion. The rivalry had transcended the court. It wasn't just fans. Current and former players chimed in. Analysts dissected every angle. The media couldn't get enough. Clark versus Reese was the hottest topic in sports. LeBron speaks. King James fuels the rivalry fire. Then, LeBron James weighed in. The King himself tweeted his reaction. That Clark to Reese connection is nice #WNBA #girl power. The tweet sent shockwaves through the sports world. LeBron's endorsement gave the rivalry even more legitimacy. It showed the power of women's basketball, and it proved that Clark versus Reese was more than just a game. It was a cultural phenomenon. The rivalry had captured the imagination of fans worldwide. It had become bigger than basketball. It was about empowerment. It was about inspiration. It was about two women at the top of their game, pushing each other to be even greater. The debate rages on who reigns supreme. The debate raged on. Who was better, Clark, the maestro of the court, or Reese, the unstoppable force? It was a debate with no easy answers. Clark's supporters pointed to her all-around game, her passing, her scoring, her leadership. She made everyone around her better. She was the engine that drove the team. Reese's fans countered with her dominance in the paint, her rebounds, her blocks, her dunks. She was a force of nature. She could single-handedly take over a game. The debate was fierce, but respectful. Both players had earned their accolades. They were both once-in-a-generation talents, and they were both essential to the WNBA's continued success. A rivalry for the ages. Clark and Reese make history. Clark versus Reese, a rivalry for the ages. It had everything: incredible talent, fierce competition, and most importantly, mutual respect. They pushed each other to be better. They elevated the game of women's basketball. Their story was far from over. In fact, it was just beginning. They had already achieved so much. But they were hungry for more. They wanted championships. They wanted legacy. The WNBA had never seen a rivalry like this. It had captured the hearts and minds of fans worldwide. It had transcended the sport. It had become a cultural moment. The future is bright. The WNBA's next great chapter, Clark versus Reese. A rivalry that would be talked about for generations to come. It was a rivalry that embodied the spirit of competition. It was a rivalry that inspired young girls all over the world. The future of the WNBA was bright, and with players like Clark and Reese leading the way, the sky was the limit. The world was watching, and the best was yet to come.